Well, we're here at Marshmallows Retail Park, getting ready for the start of the Centenary Scenic Drive. A few cars here already, but it's only about 20 past 8 in the morning. People going over to Costa Coffee for breakfast and bacon bat, whatever. First car's away at 9:30.
Let me introduce you to John Thornley, who's been intimately connected with MGs for more than 50 years. After an initiation in MG's service department and a distinguished war record, John succeeded to Cecil Kimber's position and presided over one of Abingdon's most glorious periods. Tell me, John, how did you get into MGs?
Well, that goes back a bit. I learned my road sense on two wheels, which, although I wouldn't recommend it to the young today, is really the only way to do it, because you sit so incredibly near to the accident. But I drove ever more powerful and rapid motorcycles and succeeded in frightening my father to death, although I was very happy. And he insisted that I should get onto four wheels. I went along to the nearby dealer and bought my M-Type. In those days, this was 1930, the M-Type was becoming a popular car, and as we passed one another on the road, we always waved. I became an avid reader of the motoring press at the time, and sure enough, one day appeared a letter, all this camaraderie among the MG owner. Why not let's form an MG car club? Anybody interested, come to my house, some address in North London, on such and such a day. I turned up there, and there were four other fellas. And we sat round the table, and I left that meeting that evening as the first secretary of the MG car club, charged with getting the backing of the MG car company. So, in due course, I went down to Abingdon. Now, at that time, I was learning to be an accountant in the City of London. I was reading for a Bachelor of Commerce in the evenings at London School of Economics, and suddenly found myself with upwards of 200 MG Car Club members on my hands. And clearly something had to give. And the logical answer, from my point of view, was that Kimber should give me a job at MG's. It took the best part of a year's hard talking, but finally he offered me a job, and I reported for duty first off on the 3rd of November 1931.
Kimber seemed to have gathered an excellent team around him. Men like yourself, Cecil Cousins, Sidney Enever, H.N. Charles, Reg Jackson and Alec Hounslow. Do you think this was a significant factor in MG's success?
Oh, certainly. I think you can probably divide MG history into about 5 phases. There's the Oxford phase, when the embryo MG Car Company was wandering from garage to garage among the Morris garages in Oxford, and produced the Mark IVs and the very first of the Mark I and the M-Type. The second phase was when we came to Abingdon, and there, from 1929 through to about 1934 or 5, model followed model with bewildering rapidity. And in these days, it reads like a sheer impossibility that one could produce 3 distinctly different models in the course of 1 year with just the merest handful. But a dedicated handful who worked very largely for the fun of it. Goodness me, demarcation was completely unheard of in those days, and a fellow would turn his hand to welding or electrical work or machining, absolutely anything. And this produced a race of quite supreme all-rounders.
Your years in the service department must have been a very interesting time. Can you think of any interesting anecdotes about those times?
In the service department, you're in the front line. You are the factory's contact with the owner. And if he's taken the trouble to come from London or Birmingham or anywhere else at a distance, it's probable that he's got something to complain about. I started my life working as an assistant to the then service manager, John Temple. And I remember sitting in his office. I couldn't have been there more than 5 or 6 weeks, I suppose. There were no customers in at the time. And a man drove in, I think, a Mark I. And he got out, and we were looking at him through the crack in the door. And he'd got a beaming smile all over his face. And Temple said, "Oh well, come on, let's go and see what he wants." And so we went out, and Temple started off with some crack or other. I can't for the life of me remember what it was. But it turned out that this was no smile. This was a facial contortion with which the man was born, and he was very far from amused. And this, I think probably this was the very first lesson that I learned. Just think twice before you are facetious.
It must have been a big blow when racing was discontinued. What did you feel about this?
Well, we all thought that the end of the world had come.
After the racing had finished, I understand that you managed the factory trials team. Was this difficult, and did it present any specific problems?
The trials world became highly competitive at that time, and also became slightly professional as well. And there always seemed to be a pressing need to design a new vehicle which was a bit better than the other chaps. And so a whole lot of very strange specials emerged. All looked rather like the MGs of the time, but you would find that they'd got 1.7 litre engines in where the normal one was 1270 or something of the sort. There were those Musketeers which had L chassis, 3'6" back tracks and 3'9" front tracks. I think they opened the engine up a bit and supercharged it. I remember Cousins was always extremely cross. I used to go out at the weekends with MacDermid and Bastock and Langley and Toulmin and Johnny Jones and Ken Crawford on the trials, and of course on the journey home we'd have fun and games and drive the things as fast as they would go. And I would retail this to Cousins on the following Monday morning, and he was always hopping mad that a car that they had built specifically to go up a hill at 15 miles an hour, so long as it got to the top, that was the only thing that mattered, that it should be driven across Salisbury Plain at 100 miles an hour, made him very cross indeed.
Can you tell us how the mergers, for instance BMC and later Leyland, affected MGs, and your own feelings on this?
I had either had or was about to attend I think it was an expert's trial. Anyway, I'd stayed over Friday night at the spa at Buxton, which was frequently the headquarters for any trial exercise in the Peak District. And we came down to breakfast on the Saturday morning, and the headline was the formation of British Motor Corporation. The gut impact was that, the bottom had fallen out of my world, and I wasn't helped really in this by Eric Adlington, a serious-minded but well-known clown of the time, who wandered across the breakfast room and said, "Well, John, are you going back to Abingdon or Longbridge tomorrow?" I didn't think that was at all funny. However, we survived the BMC merger. Indeed, it all went rather well. And don't forget that was merger number 2, because when what I was saying just now about Nuffield selling his private interests to Morris Motors, that was a merger. But then when British Leyland came, that was the 3rd time, and that really was one too many.
Right, we're coming off the ferry now. Just a short run and we'll be at St John, and then we'll make our way around to Whitsand Bay, where we should get some good views of the coast right down to the Lizard if it's clear. So we're on the road now. Right, it's fork in the road here. We're going to take the tidal road. Luckily the tide's out, so there's not a problem, and it's only a shallow ford. Just a water splash, nothing to worry about, and a good solid road, and that leads to St John. You can see the outskirts of St John over there. Right, we're down at the finish now at Harrowbarrow Village Hall. Everything's set up here, just waiting for the cars to arrive back, and hopefully most people will be back here by about 4 o'clock. The girls are in the kitchen getting the cream tea ready, so it's all under control. Right, all action in the kitchen here. Nice fresh scones from a baker in Tavistock, and Rodder's cream, and it'll be done the Cornish way. Wow, here we are. Cornish style cream tea, it's all ready to go. All we want now is some cars and some people. Right, several people arriving back now. Luckily they've managed to follow the route okay without any hiccups, and the girls are in there getting the cream teas ready and ready to serve. Bob just arrived with his new model MG. The TF failed at the start, so he had to do a quick change of vehicle. Anthony Head and Mel come in with a group of cars behind. Right, another B arrived. Hello, okay, yeah, just park beside Bob down there if you will. Thank you. Right, Barry? Right, Cole, well done. Oh, Nigel, found your way around all right then? Yeah. Oh shit, hope that. Got the Barbara over Jones behind. Go over and have a word with him. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're really rolling in now.
How many are you expecting?
Well, it's 43 started.
Oh, it's a race. So where did they start from then?
Plymouth, down on the retail park down at Marshmallows, and they've done a 100-mile run to celebrate 100 years of MG and Triumph. Right, well I think the Capri is the last car we're waiting for, so we'll get everybody in the hall and get the teas served and get the awards underway. Everybody seems to have had a good day.
Bob Perry, I'd like to start that. He has made his local potter bespoke for this event. These other wares on the table down there. Anybody who doesn't get an award, that's your employment. Appreciate it. Right, so the actual awards, difficult to split, good selection of cars. The first one you're going to present them on, Rob? Yeah. Will be number 31, Ron Henderson. Generally given as, what should we say, a hard luck prize. Somebody who's had a bit of misfortune today. And today I think it better go to Bob Slatter. We started off in one car and ended up in another. Thank you.
Cheers then, have a safe trip home. Yeah, bye. A very successful day. Everybody seems delighted and cars are making their way home.